Jessica Bevort, and this is Kitchen Table Productions, a show about living well with low carb. Today I'm going to look into one of those meats that people only tend to think about on St. Patrick's Day, corned beef. Now, corned beef is wonderful, it's flavorful, it's completely low carb, and best of all, it is simple because most of the work has already been done for you. So, let's get started and I'll show you how to make one. Corned beef is a brine-cured beef. Now, despite the name, there is no corn in corned beef. There are several cuts of corned beef available, but the one you're most likely to find in your grocery store is the brisket. Now, the first step to corned beef is probably going to be picking one out in your store. Most of these come in the cryo packs, just like this one. The trickiest part can be finding one small enough. This particular one is big enough to feed probably 6 to 8 people. I have a family of 4, so I'm just going to cut this in half and freeze the other half for another time. I generally look for a flat cut of meat since it cooks more uniformly. Don't be afraid of marbling. You want some since that's where a lot of the flavor comes from. One thing you do want to check for is that it has no added sugars in the brine. You can see this one is cured with water, salt, natural flavorings, a couple of preservatives, and garlic. And that's it. You can also check on the carbohydrate counts in the nutrition information, and it should be 0 there as well. Now, the directions say to simmer this simply in water for about 3 hours, but I think we can improve on that a bit, give it a little extra flavor. Now, I find simmering on a stove to be problematic. The heat cycles on and off. It's just too easy to be either too hot or not hot enough. I don't feel like babysitting my dinner for hours on end, so I'm just going to be using my slow cooker. Now, I'm not going to be using water either, because even though this beef is already plenty full of flavor, I see no reason not to add some more. So instead of using water, I'm just going to add this quart of vegetable broth. I've already got my meat in here. There's usually a fat side and a lean side to a brisket. I always cook it with the fat side down in a slow cooker. There we go. It should just come up enough to really just kind of cover the top of the beef. There we go. That's plenty. I'm also going to throw in here about 3 cloves of garlic that I just roughly crushed with the side of my knife. And about a teaspoon or so of peppercorns. Now I'm just going to put this lid on and leave it on because anytime you open up this lid, you let heat escape and steam escape, and it can dry out a bit. So just leave it on. It will do you good. Now, most slow cookers operate under the general directions of cook either 8 hours at low or 4 hours at high. I'm in no hurry today, so I'm just going to go for the 8 hours at low. Okay, my time is up, but I'm not going to pull this meat just yet. Just like any other large cut of meat, it needs to rest. I'm going to let it rest in its cooking liquid here for another 20 minutes, but off the heat. I'm turning this to off. This smells so wonderful. Now, how you cut this is just as important, because you'll see there's this grain that runs through the meat. And you don't want to cut with the grain, that'll just make it long and stringy. You want to cut against the grain. Just like that. See that wonderful meat? Oh, just soft as butter. Now you want to use a nice long thin knife, just make long thin strokes back and forth. Oh, this is just fabulous. Look at that. Now, corned beef served with a side of cabbage is of course traditional and very low carb. There are other things that you can do with corned beef, however. Just about anywhere you would use ham, you could substitute corned beef. Well, I hope we inspired you to try our corned beef. As you can see, it's so simple to make. For this recipe and many others, please visit our website, kitchentableproductions.net. I'm Jessica Bevort, and this has been Kitchen Table Productions.